with the sweep of the Royals and the Red Sox sweeping the Angels in 4 over the weekend. The Rangers now have a 2.5 game lead over the Angels in the AL West. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. Joe Gumm alongside Buzz, getting you set for the Rangers and Blue Jays tonight here at Rangers Live.
Since Saturday, we've been using terms like step up, step in, fill the gap, adjust, but now we know the result. Obviously, like you just mentioned, surgery today.
A woman who claims she was sexually assaulted by Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston says she was warned by police not to pursue charges.
If you want to hear me scream like a little girl, get ready, because I'm about to do that, and hopefully we won't have too much traffic. And away we go. Elliot, I have 4 daughters and a wife. I love them dearly, and they're expecting to see me back at home later on today.
For Ohio coach Frank Solich, he says he wants his team to come out and basically try to match the hype and the intensity of the Mean Green, especially after the week they had beating Ball State. Reggie Bush, running back for the New Orleans Saints. Your team tonight, man. Drew Brees, Chase Daniel. So who do you play as quarterback?
I'm obviously got to play Drew.
Guys, we talked about one Raider earlier with Danny Amendola. Now we go to another former Raider, Sonny Cumbie. How are you, man?
And welcome back to Rangers Live here at the ballpark in Arlington. We're getting you set up for the first pitch coming up at 7:05 between Derek Holland and JoJo Reyes. Holland trying to get this team back on the winning side of things. They've lost 2 straight.
You follow the rules at all times. If I tell you break clean. Timekeeper ready. Fight. Let's go into the pen. Double A, go, drive.
And after lasting a full minute and 10 seconds with 2 different fighters, my MMA hopes, dreams, past, present, and future all retired in the octagon.
And the winner, 2nd round, just for showing up and giving such a great effort, Joe Gumm!
I think you got a career in this.
Now, Joe, you did.
I hope not.
We're here with Gyre coach John Walsh. Coach Walsh, before that Longview game last week, I asked you, what do coaches look for in their team?
What's going on?
Yeah, what is that? Huh?
I'm disappointed in my
I'm
performance.
Yeah, Mr. Twit, what? You have so many followers that you can't keep up with all your teammates.
He's too busy with his own fans.
Exactly.
Well, up next, the Mavs and their tats, something that he may know a little bit about.
Jason, you have a tattoo?
Plenty. San Antonio Spurs right here. Just kidding.
Oh.
Wait, but I saw you. Did I see a
daughters.
unicorn?
Is that a rainbow? This is getting weird. We should take a break and talk about this afterwards.
Teddy bear? And welcome back to Thunder Live, powered by KOKH Communications. I'm Joe Gumm here in our Fox Sports Oklahoma studios. It was a matchup tonight between 2 of the best teams in the NBA in the second of back-to-back games. The Grizzlies 13-1, the Thunder 13-4. So who would improve on that stat? Well, let's go on out to the FedEx Forum in Memphis with these highlights. Early first quarter. Thunder down by 8. They looked a little tired, a little sluggish. The Thunder All-Stars, though, led the charge, the comeback. Russell Westbrook, the drive counted and won. 3 of Russell's 13 first-half points. Then the Durantula off the Memphis miss. He goes coast to coast, 8-0. The Oklahoma City run ties it at 22. But the Grizz closed the second half strong. O.J. Mayo from downtown Memphis with the 3. Memphis up by 10 at that point. Then 1 of the 6 Westbrook first-half turnovers leads to an easy 2 for Mayo. Memphis up by 12 at the half. Scary moment, though, in the third for the Thunder. Russell Westbrook drives. He falls hard on that left elbow. He would return, though. He is tough, believe me. Thunder down 17 at one point in the third. That's when Durant catches fire. He cuts it to 12 with that 3 right there. Down 10 here. Coming up about a minute remaining in the third. Durant again for 3. Oklahoma City uses a 17-6 run to cut it to 6 going to the fourth. Thunder down by 5 in the fourth. Daquan Cook drains the 3, and he cuts the lead to 2. Then Westbrook on the drive, down 4, finds Cook, who misses the 3, but Westbrook is there and 1. It's a 1-point game with 4:18 remaining. They are on fire, but then Memphis comes up with big plays down the stretch. Mike Conley had a big game, in fact, 20 points for him. Grizzlies take out Dallas, and then it's Oklahoma City, back-to-back, 107-101. And you look at some of these stats, Westbrook caught on fire, 27 points. Durant, the same thing, 23. Ibaka, 14 points, 6 rebounds. But you look at the night that Conley had. 20 points, 9 assists, 2 steals, and a block. A big night for him and the Grizzlies. So they lose 107-101. Let's check out post-game comments from Coach Scott Brooks. There he is, Thunder coach Scott Brooks. We heard it too many times in that 3 minutes there. In fact, I wrote it down how many times. Too many points in the paint. Yeah. And that's one of the things we talked about before the game. All the big men and the size, the advantage that the Thunder has in this game, possibly stopping Zach Randolph, just 17 points on the night. But they did a great night on him, but then everyone else, they sort of failed, like Tony Allen, 20 points, 27 in the previous game. So we look at the big men, and they need Perkins back. Yeah. Or they need him, not back, but they need him on the floor.
Yeah, it would definitely help having a Kendrick Perkins to patrol your paint when you have as many points in the paint as the Thunder gave up tonight. But a lot of that, it goes on the big guys' shoulders, but some of it can go on the guards too, because during the game there's a lot of penetration. Mike Conley did a great job of using picks or just beating his man off the dribble to get into the paint, and when that happens, the bigs have to help, and then you have Tony Allen backdoor for a layup, or especially with Serge Ibaka, he's coming to block everything. So somebody's going to have an open run to the offensive glass, and it starts with offensive penetration. That's where it really starts, and that coupled with the offensive rebounds is really why the Thunder got beat up in the paint tonight.
You talked about one of the things that he also said, Brooks addressed, was the fact that Memphis is getting better and better, and I started listening thinking, wait, that's what we were saying about the Thunder years ago. Yeah. And you look at that Thunder team, though, the bench, coming off, we talked about some of those guys before the game. Collison, we talked about Ibaka, and some of the role players like Harden.
We talked about that before the game, and we said this game was going to come down to whose role players played better. And with the night Tony Allen had, we see why the Memphis Grizzlies won the game. But hats off to Nick Collison. You saw the great play and the hustle-spirited hustle plays that he came out with, which helped the Thunder stay in this game and stem the tide. Cole Aldridge using that size, banging inside, doing his job. And what can you say about James Harden and his spirited play off the bench? These guys came in and they continue to show why the Thunder have one of the best benches in the NBA. Serge Ibaka coming over doing what he does. See, these are all good plays. This is why the Thunder are where they are in the Western Conference race right now. They have good team play, good bench, good starters, and things like that. It's just little mistakes tonight that really proved to be their downfall. The little turnovers. They only had 12. If you average 12 turnovers a game, that's great. But it's having 4 or 5 of them in the fourth quarter. That's what did them in tonight.
Yeah, in that situation off the turnovers, when you score points, you allow that team. You turn it over, then you allow them to score points. That's not a good thing. I wish they were thinking maybe we want to take back that first half and, like you said, improve on that going to Philadelphia this week. Yeah. Hey, one of the things that we're going to hear from Kevin Durant later on, but right now Nick Collison, one of the guys we just addressed and talks about this game. Well, taking a look at the first half compared to the second half, Malik, he was off, but, they proved, the Thunder, that they can win games when he's off. The example of that would be the Suns, just 18 points. That's still a decent night, but other guys stepped up. Well, tonight, I'm sure they were hoping, hey, let's have a good night from him, because we like those nights. Most of the time we win when he has those big nights. Yeah,
well, the Thunder, they proved they can win when Kevin Durant isn't there. They went up into Boston without Kevin Durant and got a big win. So that wasn't really the problem, but I think what that stat tells us is early in the game, as Grant Long said, the Thunder were trying to do too many things one-on-one. The ball stayed on one side of the court too many times. But after halftime, Coach Brooks and the Thunder, they made their adjustments, and they came out and they moved the ball. They set screens from one another. They started playing Thunder basketball, and everybody got in the rhythm, namely Kevin Durant, and he got himself going. Those are things that Russell, being the point guard of the team, has to realize. For all his talents and all his strengths, one, he really still needs to learn how to be a pure point guard, but he still has time, and he has one of the best point guards in Maurice Cheeks on the bench at having to give the ball to superstars. You think in Maurice Cheeks, he had Charles Barkley at the feed, Dr. J, Andrew Toney, Moses Malone. So, Russ, talk to Mo Cheeks about keeping a superstar happy. It'll help you out.
Yeah, no joke. And one of the things that we talked about earlier with Brooks, and the guy said it just as well, when the Thunder made a mistake, Memphis really took advantage of it. And a lot of times that doesn't happen. And it was funny, one of the reporters said, well, acting like this was the end of the world. Of course, it's not the end of the world. They're just, they didn't get the 40th win of the season tonight, but they still had a pretty good second half. And plenty still ahead on Thunder Live, including more post-game reaction from this game and highlights from some key NBA games on the schedule tonight.
Now put your hands together as we present your Tampa Bay Rays.
When you have a job title that starts with the voice of, it usually means you're heard but rarely or never seen. So as the Rays get set for their season opener today, we pull back the curtain and reveal the voice of Tropicana Field, Greg Khalil.
The coolest thing about this job would be fill in the blank.
Coolest thing about this job, again, there's only 30 guys in the country that get to do it. I've liked sports in general, as most guys do, but baseball has been my first love from way back in the late 60s. And the fact that I get to sit here and am paid to do it is just amazing to me. I tell people, don't pinch me, I don't want to wake up.
Number 18, Ben Zobrist.
It's that type of passion and excitement for the game that comes through loud and clear over the loudspeakers at every home game at the Trop. A job I wanted to attempt myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please join us in welcoming Jessica Carey to perform our national anthem.
All right, so talking into a microphone, that's pretty easy, right? I mean, I do it every morning. But that was just a short announcement, not an entire roster of names that might have some difficult pronunciations, like
Kila Ka'ahue. They said, what's that? I said, it's an ancient Hawaiian greeting of peace and love. Or the Oakland first baseman, but definitely one of the two.
Whether it's the home team or the opposing team, getting the correct names is priority number one for a PA announcer. But I also found out that if you make a mistake and announce the wrong information on a promotion or contest, it might cost you.
With that hit, Hess Express will donate an additional $5,000 to the Children's Medical Center at Tampa General Hospital, bringing this season's total to $5,000.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
So then I end it, and I'm thinking, okay, that was a great announcement, but then I made a mistake.
Yeah, you moved the decimal point. You just gave away 10 times as much money as the sponsor was planning to.
And as I had Greg right beside me to inform me of my mistake, he depends on a much larger group of behind-the-scenes people helping him with everything that's involved with being the voice of Tropicana Field.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Tampa